Hi, this video is for people who love freedom and recognise that common law is a key component in making sure the cabal who want one world government never succeed. When somebody invented COVID, I went on a journey to find the best proponents of common law so that I could stay close to them and help in any way that I could. I didn't realise at the time how many different views on common law there were, and to my dismay, I discovered that many of the so-called leaders of common law were of the opinion it's my way or the highway. I thought at the time what a shame that was, and still do. However, I was happy to see that the most mature and professional and serious players in the common law arena were all respectful of each other and wouldn't dream of attacking each other's methods of teaching. I decided that the one I admired the most was the administration behind the website commonlawcourt.com, and 2 years later I've no reason to doubt that choice. Commonlawcourt.com exists in cyberspace. It isn't owned by anyone. It's there for we the people of the whole world to declare that without any ambiguity that we are standing under common law. People say wrongly that the individual known as John Smith owns Common Law Court, and that's totally untrue. I don't know this, but he probably owns the domain, but that's irrelevant because you and we could set up a similar domain tomorrow easily. John Smith is the administrator of the website, and he has individuals helping him. So that I'm completely clear, John Smith is not Common Law Court. You and I are the people. We, the people, are Common Law Court. The reason I'm making this 30-minute video is to cover an important and serious question, which is why do people throw stones at Common Law Court? Why do people throw the same frequent comments that to the untrained ear can do a lot of damage to the Common Law Court? Well, before I make my attempt at answering those questions, I'd like to share with you what I've heard directly said to me. And while I go through each of these accusations in the next few minutes, I want you to think, why are there so many accusations aimed at the Common Law Court? See if you can figure it out for yourself before I give you my answer to that at the end of this. The first thing that I lost count of hearing was the repeated complaint that Common Law Court uses a word, registration, when individuals record their birth. At first, I thought it was a joke, but unfortunately at the time I didn't know what a Common Law Court purist was. Some of my best friends are common law purists, but they're all reasonably minded purists. The reason a purist gets so hot under the collar about the word registration is because it means giving power to the monarch or regis in the hidden language of the maritime courts. That language is called legalese. So I asked John Smith, why on earth do you use such a word? And he told me that the website uses the Oxford English Dictionary, not legalese, as you can see that clearly stated on the homepage. The reason for using registration was because it's one of those words that virtually everyone recognizes as the join here word, and there are very few other words that are of equal comparison. So registration as a word stays, and there's a reason for that given on the homepage. All reasonably minded individuals agree on that point. However, I was disappointed when there are more than a few who point blank refuse to work with Common Law Court on that single issue. My message to them is this: the enemy's on the beach and they're killing children, and they won't stop until the world has no more humans as we recognize them left. So why on earth are we having the conversation about using one word when children's lives and the future of humanity is at stake? Making a fuss about the word registration has no sane defense. No sooner had I dusted myself off from defending the word registration, the attack started about privacy, where everyone's common law birth records were on public display. The fact is, when you register your details and get your birth certificate, you can clearly see on your dashboard a privacy on-off button. So if you want privacy, just click the button. Have you ever had to justify something and halfway through giving the answer, you can see the next complaint incoming? By the time you get to answering the third complaint, you'll be right in assuming the individual asking the complaint doesn't want the answers. They just want out for a hidden reason. Well, that was my thought process in the early days when I was talking about common law court, especially when the third complaint was thrown at me, that they were just a data mining setup using personal data for bond trading and that they were in breach of GDPR regulations. Well, as complicated an accusation as that sounds, it's easy to answer. The state would love to shut down common law court. They can't. Why? Because there is no evidence of wrongdoing. So if anyone has any evidence that common law court is bond trading or selling data, then let them bring that forward. Without evidence, there's no crime. When we give credibility to malicious rumours, then we all are, all we're doing there is assisting the state and hurting the people. As for GDPR regulations, that accusation displays a lack of understanding for what common law court is. The reason breaking GDPR accusation is pointless is because the living men and women of common law court are not bound by statutory rules. A similar accusation to bond trading was his CLC raiding people's Cestui Que Vie trusts via their car insurance. The answer is no. Most people don't know this, but all motor insurance claims are paid via the insurance company dealing with the Treasury for your Cestui Que Vie trust. The same process is used in common law court motor insurance, but there is no way your trust is accessed by CLC or it's just used to pay a claim. It's a shame that common law court can't show how to access your trust, because if we had full access to our Cestui Que Vie trusts, none of us would ever need to work again. It's something that I'm personally very interested in. I was getting bored when I heard another complaint that everything common law court is void because they use, get this, capital letters. Again, I'd like to underline my point. I am genuinely interested in the impact of capital letters and the trickery we're all subjected through via legalese. I'd also like to state that the study of syntax grammar by my common law purist friends is a great academic pursuit. I'm fascinated by this subject, and I'm often willing to engage in conversation about it. However, when on the homepage of Common Law Court, you can clearly see the statement that Oxford English Dictionary is applied here, not legalese. Then arguing about it, in my opinion, is a total, utter waste of time. A complaint that was wrapped in a question aimed at myself was, where does the Common Law Court get its authority from? The answer is a jury of 12 peers. Almost every jurisdiction where the common law or from a state recognises the authority of the people as superior to any government. A properly convened common law court cannot be challenged. That is where the authority comes from. A big stone that's often thrown at common law court is perhaps the most disingenuous. It's the comment, where does the money go? CLC is just another money-grabbing organisation, no different than the banks or the states. They ask why Croon accounts are charged an equivalent of £10 a month. Where does it go? Without proper study, they just throw idle comments that the common law court is ripping people off. All this demonstrates a lack of understanding about how a business works. Wait, I hear you say, CLC is the people. You just said it's a business. No, I didn't. I said individuals who criticise CLC often lack business knowledge. The CLC I've seen is an admin centre which produces hundreds of declared births every day. Who does this is a man or a woman sat at a PC. Who pays the man or woman to sit there? Who pays for their PC? Who pays for the phone? Who pays for the desk they sit at? Who pays for the electricity to keep them in light and in the warm? It takes money to run these things, and although it's an admin centre, it needs to be run as a business for all of our sakes. And further to this, I suggest you go to the webpage clc-currency.uk and read where it says, no longer will the government have access to your money and restrict you. Most awake people know the corruption of government finance, so it beggars belief that the same awake people criticise the very vehicle that is taking them to freedom. And if you really want to know where the money goes, It's there in plain sight on the page clc-currency.uk. It clearly states that all monies raised, including the £10 equivalent in Croon accounts monthly fees, is allocated as follows: 45% to CLC Healthcare, giving free treatment to living men and women. That's free treatment to your loved one with cancer, for goodness sakes. 20% to CLC Education. That's a way out of government indoctrination camps, otherwise known as state schools for your children. 14% to common law constables to keep you and I protected from state thugs and to maintain our freedom. 3% goes to currency to ensure we have our savings safe from state control. 3% to CLC media to ensure we've got a reliable source of news, and 10% to other sources, which maintains the structure we all can have and use in place. Would you believe that some people still won't let that go? And they complain, yeah, but it says the cryptocurrency, the Croon, is backed by gold, precious metals and tangible assets. So where's the gold stored? Now here is where I think, for all our sakes, the admin of Common Law Court should draw the line, and here's why. If you told the cabal where the CLC gold is, that's an invitation to march in and confiscate it. And the very detractors asking where it's stored will probably be the first to say, how did you let it get stolen? The answer is by answering your improper question. There are plenty of trusted places where cryptocurrency can be used to purchase solid gold and quickly move back into crypto in complete privacy. If the Croon gold reserves were asked for by withdrawals, then they're always converted to fiat currency. So telling the cabal where and who the gold broker is creates a penalty kick situation to freeze the money when it's converted back into fiat just before sending it to CLC admin. It's strategic suicide to provide such information, and if it became public, I personally wouldn't put any funds into it, because the whole system would become high risk as a result of telling the cabal where your gold's hidden. It's not all about gold either. If you read the information, it says the Croon funds are invested in tangible assets. Think about that for a minute. We need admin centres, health centres, education centres. Now, if I was running the admin of CLC, that's where I'd be looking to invest. I'm sorry to say this, but a lot of us need to grow up a bit and become more emotionally mature before we demand an asset list of properties and gold invested for us. We either trust the admin of CLC or we don't. It's equally disingenuous to demand a set of accounts and requests. That request shows a complete lack of understanding in common law. We're not part of the state or admiralty law or any cabal law who insists on every living man and woman is enslaved by making them accountable and hence producing accounts to them so they can rob them with unlawful taxes. Can you imagine walking into your high street bank and demanding to know where your money's going? These very banks are the power system behind the entire depopulation and control agenda we find ourselves in. So after having our forefathers sent to needless wars for hundreds of years and dreadful genocides across generations, if you don't trust the admin of CLC to look after your Croon account, then stay with the cabal bank or get together with your neighbour and start printing your own paper money, hoping that the local con man doesn't start counterfeiting it. Mint your own gold coins and again see where that gets you. Or of course you could start bartering the potatoes you've grown for your kids' next pair of shoes. Good luck with that. Now the next accusation was John Smith is a government agent, and there's even a video on social media called John Smith aka Agent John Smith, government agent. It's an office joke inside the admin at Common Law Court. Everyone calls each other either Agent Smith or Agent Jones, but the serious side of the accusation is simply a smear campaign, nothing more, nothing less. That smear campaign actually developed into, is he really called John Smith? Is that a fake name? Well, I can tell you I actually asked him and I'd learned not only is he really John Smith, but his father was called John Smith as well. Another smear campaign was the CLC is affiliated with the Freemasons. Well, the answer to that is a straight no. The CLC is not affiliated to anything. They're there to serve the people. End of story. Have you figured it out yet? Why there is such a barrage of accusations? Well, here's another disingenuous one. Why did John Smith and Common Law Court let certain individuals down by not attending courts with them? Firstly, at CLC, to my knowledge, there's never been any intention to attend statutory courts. CLC don't recognise their jurisdiction and authority, so why would CLC create joinder by attending and therefore submitting to them? The only reason a living man or woman standing under common law would go near a statutory court would be to challenge their authority and tackle the question of slavery. Secondly, statutory courts would not allow any advocates from CLC into their buildings. The only people who are allowed in are solicitors and barristers, and CLC is certainly not any of those. There is what is known as Mackenzie Friends, people who are recognised by the statutory courts to attend with a defendant to assist them in the statutory court process. And as I said, CLC has exposed, as have all common law advocates, that the statutory courts are fraudulent corporate organisations. So why on earth would any living man or woman from CLC attend their fraudulent courts? Now, having said all that, CLC does provide individuals with paperwork templates and guidance to living men and women to defend themselves from the statutory court system. And I have seen many successes with my own eyes to verify that. Another point to remember is that CLC is not responsible for you. You are responsible for you. CLC has limited resources. They are men and women just like you and I, with life going on, with limited time. I'm sure John Smith, myself, and other people associated with CLC cannot personally help every individual, but the CLC system can and does provide everything someone has to know to successfully defend themselves from the state. The same people that scream, "Where does the CLC money go?" are the same people that say, "Why doesn't the CLC help more people?" And stating that the obvious when I say that without cash flow, how on earth can CLC provide bigger and better service to us all? This cabal has deliberately made humanity weak and dependent on them, so that when, for example, CLC gives you documents to help yourself, but doesn't physically attend the court to help you, it's natural to complain that you've been let down by CLC, when the truth is you should take personal responsibility and work to regain independence, which, by the way, isn't easy. It's a hard life lesson to detach yourself from the state and build an independent life. The proverb is, feed a man a fish, you feed him for today. Teach a man how to fish, you feed him for life. CLC is teaching you how to fish, not weakening you by doing it all for you. Now, before I leave the accusation that CLC has frequently let people down, show me one signed contract that has John Smith's signature or any trained CLC advocate's signature on it, promising to attend a court. Plus, I heard one such case last year and someone said that they were crying that John Smith didn't attend court with them. And I knew that John Smith was extremely ill. His lady partner thought he was going to die. So let's just cut the man some slack, please. The next complaints were regarding the organisation of common law constables. Specifically, why is it insisted upon that constables record their birth and reclaim their legal fiction on the CLC website before they can become constables? Well, the reason is simple. Common law court does not care where or how you, as an individual, declare yourself as a living man or woman. And it doesn't care where or how you reclaim your legal fiction either. However, if you are to stand as a constable in front of the statutory police and any statutory body, then you simply have to prove that under their laws you are not impersonating one of their police officers. Your CLC constable card carries evidence that you are a living man or woman who has ownership of the legal fiction they fraudulently created at your birth. Also, if you're going to stand for your community as a common law constable, then it's pretty obvious that you will be expected to prove that you stand under common law. Just so we're clear on this point, an individual can attend a common law constable training without having their common law birth certificate or reclaim their legal fiction, so they can see what the course is all about. They have 21 days after the event to record their details if they wish to become a constable afterwards. People ask, what are commissioners and why are there ranks in the CLC constabulary? Firstly, the people authorised this at the hearing in Guildford in 2019. The ranks are there to make sure we act in the interest of the people at all times, not individuals going rogue. Another question is, why do you insist the training script is never changed without permission of the commissioners? Again, it's to ensure there's no rogue teaching. The common law court has been criticised that the common law constable rollout is too slow. Well, today we have an automated system and you can't get faster than a computer program. You see, if you build anything without a structure, it will fall apart because it has no substance. I've heard it said that individuals have ordered their CLC card and never received it. Well, if you saw the state of the website being attacked, I think it was 200 times every 30 minutes, and the fact that the state were doing everything they could to shut down its banks and any means of revenue, I'm surprised anything got sent out. But the website was rebuilt over 7 months, and those complaints have since gone silent from that day. I've heard it said that CLC doesn't have a structure to support the people, and that made me laugh, because I think it's the only one that I've actually seen that actually has a structure. The admin centre, something to behold. They have plans there for a healthcare centre, plans for education, driving registrations, insurance, passports. So yes, they probably have the most advanced common law structure in the whole world. Saying the CLC has no structure is an inversion of the truth. Ask yourself, especially if you've been around the truth movement for a while, who else do you know who practices the demonic use of inversion? Oh yes, the state. So when you hear inverted accusations, take a very close look at where that comment came from, because controlled opposition isn't far removed from the mouth of that accuser. Have you asked yourself yet why the common law court has all the accusations and very few accusations are thrown at other common law groups? What makes CLC so special to get such attention? And are the other groups so good they get little or no complaints? Dare I suggest it's controlled? So after all I've said, why do people throw stones then? Is there a reason that some people in the truth movement can be so edgy and sceptical? The only defence I can think of is that society has put these people on edge so they don't trust anybody. It's a burden being awake, knowing what's happening and about to happen, and having the asleep normies look at us like weird conspiracy theorists. There's a more likely explanation for throwing stones at common law court, and that's simple jealousy, or wanting to follow their own agenda. We can't afford to work in opposite directions. There's nothing wrong with having different common law organisations. In fact, it's a great idea. But for goodness sakes, let's edify each other and not fight like rats in a cage. That's exactly what the cabal wants. In fact, if you want to find controlled opposition or a fat ego or a jealous fool, someone who never does any genuine real research, you'll find them throwing stones at the common law court. There's a considerable amount of overblown egos out there in the truth movement, and my only comment to that is we all need reminding that we're all on the same side, folks. We are not each other's enemies. We're not all government agents or shills, so let's put our energy on building together instead of apart. I was involved in rebuilding from the ground up of the CLC website, and the internet security expert who was making sure the site was safe from attacks showed me there was a hacking attempt on the CLC site, an average of 200 times every 30 minutes. That's 400 hacks an hour. The state hate it. Why? Because it threatens their tyranny over sleeping, living men and women, and they're desperate for them not to be woken up by websites such as Common Law Court. You know, there are 206 countries and territories on our planet, and CLC is in over 190 of them, and CLC has been around the time of making this video for 5 years. The Common Law Court is right over the target of the cabal-run governments and fraudulent institutions. I suggest this is why there are so many malicious and false statements made about it. The sheer weight of relentless attacks on its credibility tell me at least there is a controlled agenda to destroy the reputation of the CLC. The CLC has a structure and a vision not seen anywhere in the world. I can't see anywhere where there's any other organisations that provided anything close to this. CLC has individuals recording their details in 190 of the 206 countries of the world. They are a clear record for anyone to declare their position as a living man or woman who has reclaimed their legal fiction. Common Law Court provides the whole array of documentation to separate yourself from state control. CLC provides car registration plates and car insurance away from the state. They provide common law passports. They have common law healthcare, common law education, common law media. And they're continually pushing for yours and my freedoms. So is it any surprise the state want the CLC to go away? And they do all they can to get controlled opposition to throw sand in our eyes? This is why so many stones are thrown at CLC, and we all should be ready to defend it. By doing so, we're defending ourselves. Now, for those of us that are reasonably minded, I ask you to share this video with anyone who hears any of these stories and encourage them to focus on building communities instead of helping the state by destroying them. So thanks for listening. Remember, we're all on the same side. We need to be working together, supporting each other, and circling the wagons on our own communities together. See you soon.